It is something interesting. I feel like whenever I talk about the gut-brain connection, people think that the gut is the second brain. People say that a lot, but they don't really know what that means. And what that really means is that the gut operates independently of the brain, yet they talk to one another. So we're going to talk about how that affects our mood, our anxiety, and how we can leverage food so we can use that to make better decisions as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as coaches, as content creators. First of all, I want to ask you guys, what have you heard about the gut? What does the gut do? What have you heard about the gut brain connection? What have you heard in general about this?
I have heard that it's like the second brain, but it also gives you like almost like a temperature check and how your body's doing, like your health is doing. I will see.
Okay. Temperature check on how your body is doing. Okay. Anything else?
For me, I always talk about, you know how people say like gut check or like I had a gut feeling. Like that's where my brain goes of like your intuition. And I also feel like my intuition's gotten a lot stronger since I've started eating better.
That's really
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, I've noticed a big difference because it's like, uno no está cansado. So that you can actually be like feel and like be present with yourself when you're not like tired after eating every meal.
Absolutely. I love that. Jay, what have you heard about the gut brain connection or the gut?
That when you feel anxious, you're going to feel it in.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Anxiousness, you're going to feel it in the gut.
Yeah.
Feel it. Yes. And all of that is so true. The fact that the gut is the second brain, meaning that because it operates independently of the brain, it controls a lot of our day-to-day operations. We always think about the brain as this like central controller, but the gut is right up there in many different ways. The gut produces neurotransmitters. It actually 90% of serotonin is in the gut and not in the brain. Obviously, this temperature check on how the body is doing, this is really important because there's so much information that is held in the gut, either from symptoms. You can find it if you feel a little bloated, if you feel a little constipated, if you feel a little heavy. All of that tells you a lot about how your body's doing. And then that gut feeling intuition is so real because exactly what you say, Tiff. Like, if to the most practical principle, you're feeling good, so you are able to notice more things around you. That strengthens your intuition and strengthens your relationship to your body. It's so beautiful. And the fact that, you can feel it in your gut when you feel anxious, when you feel depressed, it is so real because of that same bidirectional communication between the gut and the brain. So the gut communicates with the brain communicates with the gut. So if the brain senses a threat, it's going to show in your gut. And if the gut maybe eats, if you eat something that maybe didn't really quite sit well with you, you're going to feel it also in the body, which obviously parts of the brain. For example, just feeling a little sick and not being able to focus. It could just be many different things. Something I found in my recent research, which is crazy, is that anxiety and depression cost about $1 trillion per year in the global economy.
Wow.
1 trillion.
So people
So
making money when you're sick.
no, no, actually, in lost productivity.
Oh, okay.
People that do not feel well enough to work is costing the economy. And I don't like this very capitalistic lens to it.
Yeah.
It's just costing the economy trillions of dollars because you don't want to work. But more so, it's just like, how can you take this to your own life? It's just like, well, how am I not showing up in a way that is aligned, in a way that is productive, in a way that is my higher self when I'm at work, if I am feeling stressed, anxious, if I'm feeling depressed. So that is really what I want to get out of that statistics. Not so much about how much money is costing the economy, but how it's costing you. How it's costing you in relationships, in activities, in growth. That is what really matters when we talk about what mental health issues cost us in the long run. Are you guys familiar with the fight or flight response? So when you have a strong relationship in your gut and your brain, you're able to not be so much in fight or flight, which is so important. A couple other coping mechanisms from the same principle is freeze, which is like not making decisions at all, and then fawn. Have you guys heard about fawning?
Yeah.
So if we're talking about like a lion is coming to us, you either fight or you fly, you freeze, or when it's fun, it's like you kind of like try to appease the lion. You want the lion to like you, so you can maybe finesse your way out of it. In business, what this translates to is overthinking. It's trying to get it right. It's just like always being in constant optimization, but this is just a coping mechanism to not actually act. So when
Indecision is a choice. That's what I always tell myself. I can stay in that indecision forever.
Exactly. So a lot of people, when they are in a business setting or they're doing their own thing, maybe they don't really relate to fight or flight or freeze, but they can always relate to fawn. The overthinking overall and the trying to make the right choice is a choice of inaction rather. So this is why having a strong gut-brain connection is so important, because you're able to be more in the present and make choices that are aligned for yourself. We can talk about not being depressed and not being anxious all we want, but even though that is so important, what is in it for you, it is that you get to be a better business owner. You get to be better for your clients, for the people that you coach, for the people that you serve, and that is what matters the most. Now, let's talk a little bit about the gut. And I want to ask you, gals, what does the gut do? Do you guys know what the gut does? Wrong answers only.
Yeah, breaks down your food.
Okay, breaks food down.
And gives your body nutrients.
Okay, so nutrient absorption. Yes.
I actually don't. I failed biology. I actually don't know what the gut does.
Okay, beautiful.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in the right place. So nutrient absorption. Another thing that the gut does is that it is a big part, plays a big role in the immune system. It also creates and influences hormones. Which is so important for everything, obviously, as we know, as women especially. And the other thing that it does is that it creates neurotransmitters. And this is really fascinating.
Wait, it governs the immune system, or
Yes,
it has.
it governs the immune system. Yes. 80% of the immune cells are in the gut. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it all means. But nutrient absorption basically is that, let's say that you have a really beautiful meal. You have the most beautiful salad with salmon and nuts and everything. It's just delicious, and I have everything. And you have gut issues that prevent you from absorbing those nutrients. Your gut needs to draw those nutrients out. It doesn't just like appear out of nowhere. Your gut has to do all the work to break it down so they can draw the nutrients. And if you have issues with your gut, you're not drawing the nutrients that you need. So sometimes I like to tell clients in my practice, it's like, hey, with the gut issues that you currently have, right now might as well you be eating cardboard, because you're not drawing as many nutrients as you can. This is just an exaggeration because anything is better than cardboard, but you know what I mean. I want to talk about how the gut also influences and creates and influences hormones. So the gut creates insulin, glucagon. It creates hormones that tell our brain that it's time to be satiated. And when our gut is healthy, then we have better sex hormones. So our testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, all of that is influenced by gut health. That could be a whole nother workshop, so we're not going to spend too much time. Okay? Okay.
I was gonna say, I'm like, listen. Let's talk about it.
We can never be, have enough information. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And especially like as we get older.
Absolutely. This is
Like
so
after 30,
important.
I feel like everything has changed.
Everything
Don't say
changes.
that.
It's a great age, I promise you. So, for example, if you're not fully absorbing cholesterol or you're not fully expelling cholesterol once it's used, then you're going to have either low estrogen or high estrogen, respectively. High estrogen if you're constipated because you're not expelling the bad cholesterol. And then low estrogen sometimes happens when your body's not drawing enough nutrients to create those hormones. So that is just a quick example. There's just so much more nuance and so many more that I could draw on from, but that is a quick example for you guys. And it creates neurotransmitters. So it creates serotonin.
That's the feel good?
Yes, it creates GABA and it creates dopamine. Yeah.
Serotonin is happy.
Yes.
And then what's GABA?
GABA is more relaxation and like just baseline like contentment. And then dopamine is a reward neurotransmitter. So when you go, when you're on your phone, you get dopamine. When you're like scrolling on TikTok, when you are,
Oh my god, I hella confused it with endorphins. I thought it mean after the gym.
What dopamine does is that it wants you to continue doing more, which is that's reward. That's not a bad thing. It's the issue is when it's like chronic and you're always like getting it. Huh?
Is that what they used to call drugs though?
Wow, that's probably it. I think.
Probably, right?
Ooh, oh my God, that is so good. So now the other thing about gut health or gut that the gut does is immune system activity. So you mentioned 80% of the immune cells. There's so many things that the gut does to help us heal and to help us fight infection. For example, if you eat something that is contaminated, there's a chance that you'll get sick, but there's a chance that you won't get sick. And that chance of you not getting sick is your gut fighting tooth and nail. It's for you not to get sick. Your gut is doing everything it can for you to not get an infection. A lot of times it could be even worse than what it was, but your gut really put in the work, so it mitigates the damage. So honestly, the MVP of the body is the gut. I love it so much. Next up, question. How do you guys know if your gut is healthy?
When I'm going to the bathroom.
Yes, that part.
Bathroom.
Every day.
Bathroom,
When I'm not bloated.
Yeah.
trips,
But
every day.
Yeah, but okay, it depends.
Okay, how do we want a stool to look like?
Solid.
Solid. Like
Not
a
like a rock.
baguette or
Yeah.
something like that.
Baguette.
Yes.
I'm crying. Doing baguettes for me. Your shit should look.
Yes.
I love that.
Exactly. Well, I mean, you will never forget now.
No, that's true.
Wait, but not like a rock. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like
So
constipated.
you don't want little goblets or
Yeah.
when it's like a lot, but like they're kind of together. It's clumpy.
Or that is painful to go.
Or it's painful to go, or then it's warty
Yeah.
diarrhea as well. There are many. Stool can look so many ways, but really, this is what we want: a solid stool that is easy to pass, that doesn't take too much time. You're out of the bathroom in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
That is like gold standard. Now, when we have, let's say, chronic loose stools, that typically signs a infection or that signs like poor nutrient absorption, poor food absorption and digestion. So, for example, if you see also parts of food in the stool, that just means that you're not fully breaking down the food and digesting the food. When you're too constipated, one of the things that happen, I alluded to it earlier, is that you don't get to fully expel the waste products that happen in our gut. Our gut is just like any machine, like a car. There's going to be waste that happens at the end as the car just goes on. And that needs to be expelled. And a lot of times when we are not having solid bowel movements and trips, we are letting those waste products recirculate into our system. I know that sounds kind of gross, but it just gets reabsorbed. If there is like all cholesterol, the all cholesterol gets reabsorbed, which is why people are like, oh, you need fiber so you can lower cholesterol. It's not that fiber lowers cholesterol. It's that fiber helps you poop.
Interesting.
Right?
Now, let's talk about, this is perfect segue. Let's talk about those microorganisms. You have bacteria. This is my best attempt to bacteria. You have bacteria, parasites, fungi, they all live here. So that is our microbiome. What feeds our microbiome, what feeds the good bacteria is prebiotics. So probiotics is the good bacteria. Prebiotics is the foods that we feed our good bacteria, which is fruits, vegetables, seeds. It is, yeah, fruits, vegetables, seeds, grains, rice, all of that would be classified as prebiotics. It's food for the gut bacteria. Now, I want to do an exercise with you all. I want you to tell me, putting you guys on the spot, some of you, how many vegetables you had this week or this past week. That's what I say,
This
Jay.
morning I had a salad.
Oh, wow. Okay, what did the salad have?
Oh, it was just like mixed greens.
Okay, so
¿Y ese
lettuce.
nombre qué dice?
Anything else in the mixed green salad?
No, I just had that with eggs this morning.
Okay. And the rest of the week, what have you had? I know we had tacos last week, so there's onions there.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
onions,
And I have like pico de gallo.
peppers,
Like onions,
peppers, tomatoes.
You know we call it chimón en Honduras.
Really?
What, tomatoes?
Este pico de gallo le
Ah,
decimos chimón.
okay. Cilantro.
Yes, I love cilantro.
Cilantro. We got here 5 vegetables. Fruits? Any fruits?
Oh, yes. Oranges.
Oranges.
Yeah, I love oranges. Aguacate, of course. Like a staple. Plátano.
Avocado. Plátanos. Plátanos.
And then I usually have excess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fresh. But I want you guys to consider that in order to have a healthy microbiome, you want to have 30 vegetables or 30 prebiotic
I
foods
literally put
per
those
week.
on repeat. Like,
Yeah, you see? So, we have here like what, like 7, 8? Like there's work to do here. I mean, this is more than most people.
Yeah.
Now, I have a couple questions for you. Have you guys ever had a gut feeling that something was going to go right or wrong?
No.
Yes? To that. Okay. Have you ever been so stressed out that your tummy hurt?
Yes.
Has that happened to
Yeah.
you?
Oh,
Yes?
que se me quita el hambre.
Oh, que se te quite el hambre.
That's a very common thing
Yes.
for me.
That's a good one. And have you ever been so sick that you're kind of depressed? Maybe the cold.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Every time I'm sick. I hate being sick.
Yeah.
I can't be outside.
And you know what? That is really the gut-brain connection in a nutshell. And I want to spend some time about being sick because a lot of us think that it's just our body not wanting to do anything. But what this actually is a mechanism called sickness behavior. I mean, they could have gotten a better name, but it's called sickness behavior, and it's a defense mechanism from our body to allocate all of the resources into healing. So when you feel depressed, it's not just that you feel no energy. When you feel depressed, when you're sick, this is actually a real thing that the body's doing. So you don't do anything and you focus on healing, or your body focuses on healing.
Yeah.
And now what I wanted to put into perspective is that imagine, like in my practice, the women that come to me, they come and we run tests and they have crazy gut infections. Maybe they have an H. pylori infection. They have dysbiosis or SIBO, which is an intestinal bacterial overgrowth. They're always bloated.
Articulitis.
Yeah, exactly. So they have all these gut issues and they're also depressed. And I want you to consider how I was talking about how the gut fights infection and it's really the biggest part of the immune system. How a body that is constantly fighting infection, now that you know about sickness behavior, is how a body and a mind is feeling, right? If you're constantly, you don't know that you're sick, but your body's fighting something, it makes sense that you are not feeling great mentally. So that is one of the newer findings that I got when I was refreshing this training. It was just like, oh yeah, like it isn't only that their gut and the brain are connected and everything, but it's just like when your body's fighting all these things, all these gut issues, then you will feel depressed because your immune system is in action 24/7. Now, I wanted to share with you some really interesting studies and findings and things that have happened in the world of gut health. Number one is that people who are depressed and anxious, they typically have less diversity of bacteria than people that have greater mental health, that have improved mood, which is so interesting. The question,
Sorry.
pardon me?
Can you say that again?
Yes, people who are depressed and anxious, when their microbiome is studied, they show to have less bacterial strands than people with better moods. Now, number two is it's 2 words, and the words are fecal transplants. Do you guys know what I mean when I say
Yes.
fecal transplants?
I had a question about this. I've been writing the questions that I have. Yes, and I want to know your thoughts on that.
Okay,
I saw a
okay.
documentary on this, and it blew my mind.
Right?
I've never heard of this.
Never heard of that? Okay. So fecal transplant is the is the transfusion of fecal matter from an individual to another individual
Oh wow.
for the purpose of healing. It is typically used for infections like C. diff, which is a really bad bacteria, but also for Crohn's disease and autoimmune diseases of the gut. And what has been found is that people that get those transplants get better. They get the bacteria from the other person and they get better. A couple other things with the fecal transplants that are fascinating too is that people tend to get qualities and attributes of the other person.
Oh shit.
Yes. In ways that are not so creepy. It's just like the person is depressed and they got fecal transplant for somebody that's not depressed, their mood also improves.
Yeah.
And the other way happens too. If the person that they got the fecal transplant from is depressed and they weren't, they can get depressed too. I want to talk about a day in the life of an entrepreneur and how having a healthy gut versus having an unhealthy gut could affect your day to day. You wake up and you're an entrepreneur that has a coaching business, and then you wake up and what do you have? You have breakfast, you have a presentation that you have to give, you have a coaching call later. Coaching call later. Now, a healthy, very aligned woman that has very much a very good and set routine about their gut health will have breakfast early, and they will have a breakfast that is what? Berries, eggs, toast. An entrepreneur that is like kind of rushing and trying to get through, what do they have? Toast with butter, maybe, right? Toast with butter, exactly.
Un café.
But also needs to happen something like out of all that. Like
Waking up.
waking up,
Yes.
breathe.
Yes.
Not taking the phone.
Yes,
first thing in the
exactly.
morning. So
Wake up.
Those things will make like the difference.
Yeah, so maybe calm and this is rush.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they go to the bathroom and this person has diarrhea. This person has a solid bowel movement. This person in the presentation, this gal, let's call Sally, the gal with the healthy lifestyle, Sally and Sandy. Should have done this better, but Sally has a presentation and she is feeling really good. She feels a little nervous, but she's able to go back to her baseline. She feels nervous, but it's okay. Sandy, on the other hand, she has a presentation and she wants to shit her pants. She's not able to control it. She is too nervous. She has butterflies in her stomach. She feels so taken by her emotions and her feelings. But it's okay. She pulls through and it was really, really good. And then she has a coaching call later. And what happens in this coaching call? She had a fight. Not a fight, but a disagreement with her coachee. And she got a chargeback. What happens if somebody that just feels so on edge all the time gets asked for a refund? They might not act like their highest self, right? They feel too nervous. They might go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. They might want to just fight and be like, no. Or they start like maybe second guessing themselves. They don't know what's left for them. Whereas somebody that is calm, collected, has a good brain communication system going on, she's acting like her highest self. She knows that it's not her fault, and she knows what to do next. Whether that is honoring it, whether it is fighting it, whatever that is, she's not overtaken by her emotions. And all of that happens when we are in a state where we can have some control and some ease over our body. Something I like to say when people talk about having a regulated nervous system, I like to think of this. This is anxiety. This is depression. So anxiety is when you're too heightened, depression is when you're too suppressed, and what we want really is the middle, right? This is regulation. And the difference between somebody that is able to regulate, it's not that they don't feel anxiety or they don't feel depression, it's that they're able to shrink this graph, and their anxiety is not so anxious, the depression is not so depressed, and the regulation comes faster. It's just faster, kind of like you're kind of closing the loop a little faster. And that's what happens when you eat the 30 foods a week. When you take care of your gut health, you take your probiotics, and you address your infections. And of course, when you strengthen your vagal tone, which you all do here at Sueños Social Club. So love you so much for that, for what you offer in the space. So yeah, now let's bring it up for questions, if there's any. Take your notes.
So when you, I don't know, does it?
Yes. Okay, so your question is, if you kill the bad bacteria and you eat your probiotics and your prebiotics, was there any other part of this?
No, like.
And you eat your prebiotics and probiotics and you eat healthy and you take care of yourself? Yes, that's what we do here at Mario Cabral Nutritional Therapy. You literally...
That's a good start.
Yeah, you literally described our system. Like you want, obviously we got a test, and if you're in your test, we see that there's any bacteria that is unfavorable, that it shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
We eradicate that bacteria. We focus on healing the tissues, because the bacteria, what happens, and the metabolites is that they will damage tissues, and then we work in strengthening, replacing and strengthening the gut bacteria, feeding the gut bacteria. And then the gut bacteria takes it from there, and they do all kinds of great things to your gut, basically. So yeah. Any other questions, my queens?
Yeah, I had a question around colon cleansing and juice fasting. Like, how healthy is that? And then, like, frequency, just all of that. And also, too, I know some people are against it, some people are pro. Just wanting to hear, like, your thoughts.
Yeah, juice fasting and colon cleansing. Look, it isn't something that I recommend for most people, but there are caveats in everything, right? The first caveat is the purpose. So is the purpose of your gut cleanse to just like have maybe kind of a spiritual type of endeavor, right? Like maybe you want to know what fasting feels like. Maybe you're regulating your nervous system in other ways, you're strengthening your vagal tone. In that case, yes, it could be beneficial. It is not beneficial if that's the thing that you want to fix your gut, right? It is just like a practice that it could be helpful if you have all the other things in place. But let's say that you're a person that is always stressed and that doesn't eat already enough food and that they have all these symptoms. This is not something that is going to heal you. But it could be a good practice that could tell you a lot about your body, where you are in the moment, and everything. Whereas in regards to colon cleansing, I think it's also kind of the same principle, in my opinion. You either catch a fish or you're being taught how to fish. And a lot of the times we try to go to these like quick fixes and we get a really good result, but then 2 years later, or like 2 months later, we're in the same boat. So what I recommend is just actually understanding the root cause of your issue instead of trying to fight a cleanse all the time. Any other questions, my dears?
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, like, isn't a cleanse good so that way your body can take a break from constantly breaking down food?
Well, the thing is, like, it isn't... Their body's really not designed for that, to like stop. Like, it's not something that their body needs. I think when it's paired with spirituality, it's good.
Yeah.
Because it transcends. But when it's just like, oh, my body needs a break, no, it doesn't. really. It's more of the mental state that you're on when you do those things.
Yeah.
That you can maybe get some downloads and you can get like so much out of it because you get so much clarity. But it's not because your body needs a break. In fact, like a lot of the times it happens that maybe cells regenerate and things like that, but cells can regenerate in other ways by eating maybe antioxidants and things like that. So it's just one avenue.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that feels really good to do these constant like cleanses because it is just chasing that initial high that you get when you do a cleanse, which a lot of people do and like, but it's not something that I recommend for overall health. Like it's not necessary at all. And for a lot of people, especially a lot of women who are always running on cortisol and they don't eat enough protein and all of that, it's actually worse for them, especially for hormone health. You don't want the fast and hormone health, especially for women, typically. Again, and that's why, again, mind over matter, when you do it spiritually, it's like different
Yeah.
because there's so much intention. But just like general, as a gut healing strategy, no.
Gotcha. That's a big myth.
Yes,
Because a lot of people tell you that.
I know, the cleansing. That's true. I should address that myth.
Yeah.
All right, my dears, thank you so much. Do you have any other questions?